Check out Stevie Wonder the next time you believe that an insurmountable obstacle is preventing you from achieving your goals. Stevie Wonder is a blind musical prodigy who began creating amazing music in elementary school and has won an astounding amount of accolades. Stevie Wonder has penned and performed hit songs for decades, earning a net worth of $110 million and 30 top 10 hits. The music legend is probably responsible for at least one song on your list of favorites. He has maintained his musical relevance to the point where he performed at this year's Grammy Awards alongside, comparatively, up-and-comers Daft Punk, Pharrell, and Nile Rodgers. The man who lost his sight when he was still a baby went on to inspire many singers and musicians throughout the years and wrote songs that have been bumpin' for parties for 40 years. This is the tale of how Stevie Wonder overcame adversity to become one of the most well-known musicians in the world. Born in Saginaw, Michigan, on May 13, 1950, Stevie Wonder, real name Stevland Hardaway Morris, Judkins, was raised as a child. He was born 1.5 months early. Complications resulted from his extreme prematureness and the amount of oxygen the hospital pumped into his incubator. Retinopathy of prematurity, ROP, set in for him. ROP results in blindness by stopping the development of the eyes and causing the retinas to permanently separate. Despite going blind shortly after birth, his large family accepted his disability. He was the third of 6 children, and following their parents' divorce, he and his siblings lived with their mother in Detroit. Even as a small child, he demonstrated an interest in music. He quickly progressed from playing the piano to the harmonica, drums, and bass. He enjoyed singing in the church choir, and the parishioners started to notice that he had surprisingly developed musical taste. At the age of 11, in 1961, Gerald White persuaded his brother Ronnie White, who was a popular group member of the Miracles, to attend a church performance by 11-year-old Stevie. Ronnie White was taken aback right away. He introduced Stevie Wonder and his mother to Motown mogul Berry Gordy. The young prodigy was dubbed the 8th wonder of the world by Motown executives and musicians. His nickname was born when Motown producer Clarence Paul called him Little Stevie Wonder after seeing him perform. Subsequently, he became Stevie Wonder and signed to Motown's Tamla label. In 1962, he released his debut single, I Call It Pretty Music, but the old people call it blues. He had put out 2 albums by the end of 1962, Tribute to Uncle Ray and The Jazz Soul of Little Stevie. Although neither album was very popular, Stevie Wonder became a national sensation the next year. Just before his 13th birthday in 1963, a live version of Fingertips PT 2 was made available as a single. On the song, Marvin Gaye provided percussion while he sang and played the bongos and harmonica. The album, recorded live, The 12-Year-Old Genius, included it. The song shot to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 charts after taking off on the charts. He became the youngest artist to debut at #1 on the Billboard charts as a result. He had left. He would write hits for other Motown groups and release a number of successful songs over the course of the following 10 years. His recordings include beloved songs like Uptight, Everything's Alright, Signed, Sealed, Delivered I'm Yours, With a Child's Heart, I Was Made to Love Her, and For Once in My Life. He had already achieved 11 top 10 hits on the Billboard charts by the age of 20. But as any young person entering adulthood experiences, Stevie Wonder was starting to get irritated with Motown's contract requirements. In 1971, he declined to have his contract renegotiated and instead used the following year to demonstrate to Motown how significant he was. The outcome was a 120-page contract that was unheard of in any Motown co-signing before. It awarded him a bigger share of the royalties from the sale and performance of his songs in addition to greater creative control. Using his newly acquired independence, he released the album Music of My Mind. A lengthy musical meditation, both musically and lyrically, each track on the album flowed into the next. Nearly all of the instruments on the album were played by him, and it set the stage for a decade of incredible exploration. A new audience was exposed to him through his subsequent album, Talking Book. The song Superstition became popular on rock stations as well because of its funky groove, which is more commonly associated with rock music than R&B. In order to promote the album, he went on tour with the Rolling Stones. The album received widespread praise and 3 Grammy Awards as a result of the wider public's interest in his music. After Talking Book, he released the album Inner Visions, which brought him 3 Grammy Awards, 2 more top 10 hits, and more recognition. He was in North Carolina in the summer of 1973 when he was involved in a serious car accident. He lost some of his sense of smell and his capacity to taste anything while in a near-week-long coma. He resumed touring in early 1974 after getting back on his feet. His album, Fulfilling This First Finale, produced 2 more top 10 hits, both of which were #1 hits and brought him 3 more Grammy Awards. His 1976 album, Songs in the Key of Life, is largely regarded as the Stevie Wonder album. I Wish, Sir Duke, Isn't She Lovely, and Love's in Need of Love Today are just a few of the songs that have made Songs in the Key of Life one of those albums that almost everyone has heard of. He received 3 Grammy Awards once more. After that, he stepped back and took a well-earned rest. In 1979, he started putting out new music once more, and over the following 10 years, he would perform, explore, and work with many different musicians. Along with releasing successful solo and duet singles, he also wrote and produced successful songs for other artists. Among the many songs he worked on during this period were Let's Get Serious for Jermaine Jackson, Happy Birthday, Ebony and Ivory, I Just Called to Say I Love You, for which he received an Oscar, Part-Time Lover, and I Do Love You for the Beach Boys. Additionally, he duetted with Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson, Julio Iglesias, and Barbra Streisand, and guest performed on harmonica for songs by Chaka Khan, The Eurythmics, Elton John, and Kiss. In addition to performing at benefit concerts all over the world, he was featured on several film soundtracks, including those for Jungle Fever and Bamboozled. Even now, he still travels and performs, albeit he has naturally slowed down a little. However, in Stevie Wonder's world, slowing down translates to more Grammy Awards, winning for duets with artists like Tony Bennett, and doing guest spots with a wide range of performers, including Andrea Bocelli and Busta Rhymes. He has received accolades from music organizations across every continent and played to sold-out audiences in practically every nation on Earth. In 2005, he put out his final full-length album. It featured Aisha Morris, his daughter, who had obviously inherited her father's musical talent. He also won another Grammy for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance as a result of it. In late 2013, it was revealed that he would be putting out 2 new albums soon. Observing how his sound has changed since 2005 should be interesting. Both of his new albums, as a musical pioneer, are sure to be highly anticipated. After overcoming the difficulties of an early birth, Stevie Wonder went on to become one of the most successful and prolific musicians of all time. His renegotiated contract with Motown set a new standard for what artists could demand in terms of creative control and compensation. His ingenuity and creativity with regard to overdubbing and the use of electronic instruments has influenced every music artist who has come after him. It seems as though his physical blindness gave him a unique perspective on the direction music is going in. Fortunately for all of us, he never allowed his disability to stop him. Play one of Stevie Wonder's incredible songs the next time you're having a bad day to remind yourself that anything is possible.